Welcome everybody to another episode of the Gray Area podcast. I am Giuseppe Colari. I'm joined by Terrance Gathers as always.
Yes, sir.
What's going on, man?
All good, all good. I miss my little drum roll. Eventually, we'll get like something to put that in,
like a proper I do put music over the intro. It's just
yeah, but like a drum roll, like
drum roll to introduce us. You want it to be real fancy.
Yeah. You know, if you're gonna go big, right? Gotta go big.
I'm with it. Pandemic day 335. On we truck.
Inching close.
On we truck. Yeah, man, how's the week been, dude? How's everything going? We had a snow again. We had a snowstorm like a week and a half ago and snow again yesterday. So,
you know what?
Actually, it was only a week ago we had a snowstorm and then another storm 5 days later. Not as big, but still.
It snowed crazy a week ago, and then it snowed again on Sunday that just passed, which is Super Bowl Sunday.
Which is very rare, by the way, for New York City. We don't get that much snow.
Not
like that.
No. If we get it like a good storm, and then we're done for the year.
We had it was like a foot and a half, wasn't it, last week?
Yeah. It was pretty deep out there. It's pretty deep out there. Yeah, I love the posts that I've been seeing online of people just jumping over puddles of dirty snow water, trying to get like onto the sidewalk.
I mean, that's always a classic.
I love seeing this because like there's people that don't care, and then there's people that misjump, and all of a sudden their whole entire foot is wet. Now,
dude, that happened to me a couple of years ago. I was leaving work, and there was a puddle in front of me, and it was just night, and it looked like concrete. I had no fucking idea this puddle was there. Up to my ankle, my foot went in. I was like, holy! I wasn't even like thinking about it. My entire ankle. That's how deep.
Your day is just like the worst day now.
I was going home from work because I had been going in. I'd have been like,
but now your foot is ice cold.
Yeah, it sucked, but at least I was like, okay, I just got to get on the subway. It did kind of suck because I have to walk like it was like half a mile or 3/4 of a mile to the train, and then when I got off the train, it's like a 15-minute walk home. That was like a weird thing I had to do. So actually, that did suck. Now that I think about it,
you throw that sock away. You had to throw that sock away.
Yeah.
You gotta throw that sock away now. Yeah, just throw it away.
Yeah, that's like the only normally that's never happened to me before. I think the only time I've ever really you normally pay attention when it just snowed, to look out for these things. But
that has never happened to me. But what has happened to me is like a car driving by and splashing my entire.
Just
outfit.
Life.
I'm done now. The day is over. I'm going home. I don't care about nothing now.
Dude, because that's like it's not even just dirty snow water. It's snow that's been sitting on the ground a billion times, and then a dirty ass car tire sprays it in your face. So it's just basically sludge at that point.
Day is over. Life is over. Yeah, that's it.
The week. Call the week. Just throw the whole week in the trash.
But the week's been good, man. Week's been great, besides the snow, had Super Bowl. I ordered Wingstop. Wingstop sponsor us.
Wingstop or any of the wing places, a lot of them now. Atomic Wings, they make some vegan wings I've had. They're very good. Atomic Wings.
Oh yeah. I keep forgetting you're like vegan out. I keep forgetting that.
Yeah, a lot of them do. Sorry.
No more Buffalo Wild Wings. I mean, you can eat the fries.
Yeah. But come on. Yeah. I mean, it's not hard. Chicken's the easiest thing to make vegan. I mean, like I said, I went to Atomic Wings like 2 years ago.
Yeah, but you can't have lemon pepper chicken vegan style.
You could. Why couldn't you?
Vegan lemon pepper chicken?
Listen, Atomic Wings had vegan chicken wings. They were just like boneless wings, but they were vegan. It's super easy to make. And I went there. I was walking by and I was like, "Oh, let me try this out." They were delicious.
Yeah, go ahead. You can eat your cauliflower.
No, it's not cauliflower, Terrance. Cauliflower wings are good. They don't like chicken, but cauliflower wings are delicious. It's not chicken, but it's still cauliflower. But no, vegan wings, it tastes like chicken. It feels like chicken. I mean, chicken's easy to make vegan. That's like the simplest one.
All right. Anyway, well, I'm gonna stick to the black bean burger you introduced me to, and that's about it.
I mean, black bean burgers are good, man. I've been eating a lot of burgers and fucking steak fries. I think I was telling you about. Oof. Steak fries, man. So Terrance, Black History Month, we're still rocking and rolling.
Of course. Black History Year.
Well, yeah.
Black History Forever.
I think we should have a Black History Year after Trump. I think this would be a good year to make Black History Year. Who do we talk to about that? Who do we petition, Terrance, for that?
It's the Black people meeting, Joe, and you know what? I'll let them know that it's okay for you to come.
Yeah, you said at one point that I was like Justin Timberlake, where like I know I'm not Black, but I'm like part of the Black community.
Yeah, I mean Timberland made you okay, so it's like we accept you.
Yeah,
you know,
I appreciate it.
Like we'll play your music at a cookout, but not at a wedding.
Whatever that means.
Justin Timberlake
at a cookout. Oh, okay, sorry. So at a cookout, not at a wedding. You said.
Yeah, we'll play your music at because it's like the cookouts, like everybody's having fun, but like the wedding, like
wedding,
Black
serious
wedding,
stuff. Like, come on now.
Yeah, it's like all right. No.
I you know what, Terrance, that's a perfect like analogy. So I'm totally with you now. All right, so you got someone that we shouting someone out today for Black History?
Of course. My Black History person of the day goes to Fred Hampton. Fred Hampton, who was a part of the Black Panther Party and died on December 4th, which he was assassinated. And ironically, it's the same birthday as Jay-Z, which he says in a rap, "I arrived on this day Fred Hampton died."
Wait, like what? The same day, or like literally the same day?
Well,
like
not just December 4th. December 4th, not the same. At least
year?
I don't think so. The same year. Yeah, that'd be.
Fred Hampton died
1969.
I think it was. I think Jay-Z was born in 69, wasn't he?
December 4th, 1969?
I think.
No.
Yeah, he was December 4th, 1969. Yeah, so he was literally born on that same day.
Okay.
We're learning. See, we're learning, man. We're learning as we go. That's what the point of this is.
We are learning as we go.
So Jay-Z was born on the actual day.
On the actual day, Fred Hampton died. Fred Hampton, who was a major part of, the Black Revolution and being a part of the Black Panther Party and everything that, he fought for, as well as the Black Panthers, and, with the movie coming out, Judas and the Black Messiah, which is pretty much based on his life and, what the FBI was doing to make the Black Panther Party look like a terrorist organization.
Right.
Really, really good trailer that they showed. Like, I'm really interested in it. I thought it'd be dope to obviously make
I think the movie
person of the day because of the movie.
I think the movie looks fantastic. Yeah, that's a good call out. It's funny, man. I wanted to add in my own shout out this week. And it's funny.
Let's go.
It's funny that's what you brought up for now, because Judas and the Black Messiah is based off of. I was going to shout out Lakeith Stanfield, who is in that movie.
Okay.
He is this guy. I'm sure you've seen Lakeith Stanfield. He's a fantastic actor. He's fucking all over the place, man. This guy. So he is. I think he is in this movie.
He is in the movie.
I believe he's like the guy who betrays them, right?
Yes, he does. Yes.
So this dude's super young. He's not even 30. He's in The Photograph, which just came out on HBO Max. But he was in Knives Out, Uncut Gems. He's in Atlanta.
The Photograph?
No, I didn't. It looked good though.
I didn't watch it either.
I didn't get around to it.
Yeah, I didn't watch it either.
But he's in Atlanta, which is supposed to be a fantastic show. Sorry to bother you.
Atlanta's great.
Yeah, I've heard fantastic things about it. He was in Get Out. I mean, this dude is a hardworking actor. He looks awesome in this movie, so that was my mini shout out.
Did you hear his latest controversy a couple of weeks ago? Yeah.
No, what happened?
Lakeith Stanfield was on Clubhouse, and he was in the moan room moaning.
That's awkward, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's just move on past that, because that's just.
Why is Lakeith on Clubhouse moaning?
Yeah. Why? The moan room thing is weird. I mean, I don't know. I mean, actors are actors. They do what they want. So I don't know, whatever. But
apparently it was a recording, though. Apparently it wasn't actually him. He just put on I guess some porn video and just did a recording of it and played it, But regardless of the fact,
what he's doing there.
We gotta find better things to do with our days, people. We just have to find if it's 2 a.m. and you have nothing to do, don't get on Clubhouse and moan. I don't think that's the thing to do.
I'm with you.
it just pick up a damn puzzle or something. Like,
Let me ask you something,
do
Terrance.
something else.
Do you think this is going to be one of those things we look back on and we're like, man, the pandemic got weird? Or is it just people are weird no matter what?
Yeah, yeah. It's. I think we're gonna look at it and be like, yo, like this thing made people two ways, because you got people that got creative, and you got people that got smarter, whether they picked up a book or two or watched a couple of YouTube videos, learned a new skill, whatever it may be, or whatever they were doing at the time, they got better at it, were able to focus more because they didn't have the distraction of the 9 to 5 thing.
Right.
Even people like you were able to, like, jump back into school and like, hey, like, I'm gonna better myself and
But I'm
do
saying,
something.
do you think the moan room, people are going to look back and go, why the fuck were we, was that this pandemic getting in our heads?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Just like with all these challenges that are happening, like there was a cinnamon challenge that happened.
Well, cinnamon challenge is a lot older than the pandemic. I mean, I was in high school when I went down.
But there's a lot of these stupid things that happen over the course of our generation that we're just gonna look back and be like, yo, what was going on? Like, but during the pandemic though, I don't think there was a lot of stupidity happening. I just think people were doing weird stuff, but
yeah,
not
like
a lot,
baking
because
bread and doing
you
shit.
can't go outside, so there wasn't a lot of stupidity.
Yeah, you just stay inside and go to the moan room. That's what you do.
Find something else to do, people.
You know,
please.
Terrance, let me ask you a question. So I was looking at my hands, right? So it sounds like I'm high. I'm not. I was like, I have complete control over my fingers, except my ring finger, Terrance. I cannot get my ring finger up past essentially making it straight unless I bring all of my fingers with it. Is that just me?
Wait, what? I don't. What do you explain what you're saying?
Okay,
right
so
now.
make a fist with one of your hands, right?
Okay.
Now you could lift your pinky finger, right, by itself without any moving of the fingers.
Mm-hmm.
Your thumb, obviously, your index finger, your middle finger. But can you get your ring finger all the way straight up like your other fingers without, like, by itself without moving your other fingers?
Okay, hold on.
Because I can only get it basically to straighten out. That's as far as it goes up without me having to lift the rest of my fingers. It makes me feel like a gimp or something. You're like, I can't control it. I can't do this.
I get what you're saying. Like the
doesn't go up.
Ring finger doesn't go.
No. Like if I could lift
like
all my fingers together, but individually it does not go up. Like it just doesn't have that, like that. I don't know.
When the hell did you notice this? Like, how did you figure this out without being on some type of drug?
I don't know, man. See, this is why I don't do drugs. I don't need them. This is how my mind works, man. I don't know. This was literally, I just thought about this the other day. I was like, well, like, I don't know. I thought of this before though, like in like years ago. Like,
this is a weird thing. So your ring finger, like I can make a middle, like my middle finger, right? Like I can do
full up, 100%.
Like yeah.
All of my fingers except
all my finger except for the ring finger.
Yeah. Why is that?
This is
it just a lack of use? Like you use your pinky I don't know. Like is it? I can't be. I don't know. I wonder if there's something to that.
Is this the least used finger on your hand?
It probably is, right? Because I feel like with your pinky, it's also the pinky is also at the end, so I feel like it probably has more mobility. And then I think we use our index finger, middle finger all the time. You know, with peace sign or flicking someone off, you're pointing at something. Like we always use those. But I think the ring finger, like you don't need the ring finger.
So this is an unnecessary finger.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if you'd really. I don't want to like lop it off, but at the same time, like I don't know what you use it for other than a ring.
I mean, you got 2 kidneys, but you can live perfectly fine with one.
That's a good point. You know,
right?
Supposedly we don't need our pinky toes. Or no, is that the right one?
We don't need our pinky toes.
Or is the pinky toe
going crazy now?
And the pinky toe is actually really valuable. One of them is like actually completely. Anyway, let's not get into that now.
Right.
So yeah, Terrance, something I want to talk to you about. I'm sure you don't have like an actual answer for this, but my question, Terrance, I'm sure you've seen on like social media or online or whatever. You know, a girl will post like a screenshot of her phone. It's like a guy who, you know, texted her a million times or texted her once a week for like months to a year. I mean, you've seen this before?
Okay, yeah, I'll follow.
Right. My question is, why do guys do this? Like, if you text some girl, she doesn't respond. Like, for me, that's like, all right, well, done. And maybe I'll reach out one more time. Maybe, I don't know. Like, chances are she saw the message, but I don't understand why this is such a common thing.
Wait, how long we're talking again? Like, she didn't reply in how long?
It could be any amount of time. That's what I'm saying. I've seen like girls screen cap it where it's like a dude will text them once a week for literally like months. Or he'll literally text or something, or message her on Instagram, whatever it is, and he'll do it over the course of like a year and a half, like randomly. And she never responds. And it's like,
okay,
what?
okay. I
Or
follow now.
just a guy will send like fucking 100 messages, and like the girl just never responds. Like, what are you guys doing this for? Like, what?
Here's my thought on this, right? And I feel like I had this conversation with a female before. Now, as the female, is she opening the message and then, like, how like the iPhone, like they got the read reply?
Yeah.
Like maybe he's getting the fact that she sees this, because he'll see like,
right. But to me, if I'm in that situation, if I see that she read it and didn't respond, I'm like, well, she's just not interested, like, in talking to me. Like, that's just to me, that's an immediate, like, I'm not a turn off.
Yeah, but why didn't she block me by now then?
Well, why does it have to block you? If someone doesn't respond to you, they don't want to talk to you. What do you mean she can block you?
Why didn't you block me? But you're reading it, so you're acknowledging me in some form.
So you're that guy, then you would do that. You just keep texting a girl, messaging her over and over.
How long are we talking?
I mean, I don't know, man. If a girl doesn't respond after one text, maybe I'd give her a second text. But if there's no response, it's just the end for me. What's the point? She's obviously not interested.
Two? You give up after two?
If she's not interested, what are you doing?
I'm not giving up after two.
Well, then you're one of those guys. I might see your name. Pictures one day. I'm gonna be scrolling through Twitter or something, and Terrance has been bugging a girl for a year and a half.
A year and a half? That's a bit long.
What's I'm gonna say? So like 6 months. Okay, so you think it's okay if you send a girl one text a week for 6 months and she never?
All right. First of all, I'm not doing it once a week because I have other things to do with my life. Well, maybe every other week if I was single. If I'm single and I'm pursuing.
Oh, you're part of the problem, man. You are part of the
problem. Luckily I don't have that problem anymore. But
yeah, you're happily, with somebody, but just
no, you would do this for entertainment purposes. If I'm doing this, right, I'm doing this and I'm gonna keep going.
What? Oh God, you're literally part of the problem. I thought you'd be with me.
I'm keep going, right?
I thought you'd be with me on this, but you were the opposite of how I feel.
Here's the thing, right? You gotta take the chance. You miss 100% of the shots you don't shoot.
But you've already taken the shots. No. Now you're just harassing. You're harassing.
Am I?
Yes.
She's reading it.
But you won't leave her alone. Like, she's not responding.
Did she tell me to leave her alone?
But it doesn't matter if she's not responding. That's it's only a yes if she says yes.
How do you? Wait, what? No.
So
how do I know that I'm bothering her?
If real life you went to a bar and there's a girl there and you go up to her and you're like, "Hey, how are you?" No response. You just keep going and talking to her for like 10 minutes until she just.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Same
so
thing.
You're saying like it's the same thing in messaging?
Yeah, I mean, like, to me, like, I don't know, man. Listen, if you message somebody, like, let's take women out of the equation. Anybody, if you message somebody and they don't respond, or immediately I'm like, listen, we all check our phones fucking all day. Like, let's not pretend that we don't. Okay, we all do. So, and there's a chance that maybe you looked at a text, someone texts you or a message or whatever, and then you go, let me respond. Someone takes your attention away, you forget to respond to her, right? That's fine. So that's why I would give someone maybe a second chance. But the reality is, like, if someone's not responding after one or two goes, it's like, well, I don't think they're interested in talking to you. And I'm not going to be this person who's like a pathetic loser, like, oh, wait, please talk to me. Like, they're not interested in talking to me in any capacity.
Hey, look, I'm going to give it a chance. All right.
You're giving a chance of the first few texts are. After the first few texts, you get like 2 or 3 texts. I think after that, like, you're just kind of a loser.
Am I? Or maybe I'm just determined. You ever thought about it that way? Maybe I'm just determined.
So I'm saying, you think like she's going to ignore these texts. She's going to see them, not respond. And then eventually, weeks later, she's going to go, you know what?
Hey,
He wore me down.
Hey, yeah.
No.
Now I got you.
Doesn't actually
Now
happen.
I got you.
You sound like you're harassing the person. That's what this is. This is.
Am I harassing her? If I'm sending a text. Hey, beautiful. Good morning.
Doesn't matter
How
what you
are
say.
you?
This is
Hope
the
you have
problem.
a good day.
God, you're like Terrance, I've known you for a long time. This is the first time I've ever realized you sound like every other dude in the world. That's what you sound.
I'm harassing her. I'm seriously harassing her.
Yeah, you are.
Oh my gosh.
She's not interested, man. If you reach out to this girl, you text her, you message her, whatever it is.
So block me.
Why does she have to block you?
Because then I know. Because if you're either gonna tell me,
and you know
to stop texting you. Either gonna tell me to stop texting you, leave you alone, right? In which, of course, I'll oblige, or you're gonna block me, which then gives me the signal. All right, cool. Let me leave her alone. One of those other.
But why is not responding
not
enough of a message to you? Why is that not a clear indication that they're not interested? If she were interested, she'd respond, would she not?
Maybe I'm stubborn. Maybe I'm hard-headed. Who knows?
You are stubborn and hard-headed. That's the problem. You are the problem, not her. She's just not responding.
Who said she's the problem? She's beautiful. She's not the problem.
But you're pushing yourself on her. You're pushing your problem on her. She doesn't respond. She has nothing to do with you. You are, Terrance. You won't leave her alone, and you're messaging her over and over again. That's what that is.
That's pushing myself onto her. Is that a little bit too much?
In a digital way, it is. Yeah.
Oh, okay. In a digital way. All right. So you know what? I could be wrong. Could. Right?
I think most women listening will agree with me on this.
Or maybe, you know what? She's just going through some things and she's just not feeling the reply right now. But maybe eventually she'll reply back.
And she can do that whenever she wants.
What if this happens? What if this happens, right? Let's spin it a different way now, right?
Mm-hmm.
What if I, like you said, like I leave her alone, right? Like what if for a while, like I'm texting her and then I decide, you know what? She's not interested, I leave her alone.
Mm-hmm.
Then I bump into her on the street one day and I say, hey, how are you or whatever? And she goes, hey, how are you or whatever? We start talking and I go, how come you never replied? And she replies, how come you stopped texting me?
That would never happen. That's a crazy person is what that is. If you can't be talking to a person like that. If that's her,
maybe she would say, why did you give up?
Okay, well,
maybe she would say that. And be like, you know what? I listened to Joe.
In your fantasy, that's what happens. Like, just like in guys' fantasies, when they send a dick pic, the girl goes, oh my God, let me come over and blow you. That's what guys think.
We're not doing those. It's 2021. We stopped.
But Terrance, my point is, like, what you're talking about is your fantasy, but it's not the reality of the world we live in. Like in real life, if a woman doesn't respond, she's not interested. If anyone doesn't, for that matter. But if you text her, she's not interested. She's not going, you know what? If he texts me consistently for the next 3 months, then he'll pass my test. And if she is doing that, she's basically the Riddler, and you need to stay the fuck away from psychopaths like that. It's a lose-lose, Terrance.
Well, you know, I was once attracted to crazy, so
you sure were.
That's pretty much that story.
So that's all we're gonna get into that. The reason I bring this up, Terrance, I don't know if you heard about this a few weeks ago. The GM of the Mets got fired because it was revealed that he was sending these texts to this woman. I think she was a reporter in some capacity, but he was texting her and she stopped. She responded for a few times because she was like, you know, she didn't know what was going on. And then once he made it kind of clear, he was like, oh, like, you want to go to dinner, blah, blah. She kind of like stopped responding. And then he proceeded to send her 65 unanswered texts over the course of, I don't even know how long it was. I might have to look it up. But he wouldn't stop texting her. And then eventually he sent her a dick pic. And then they fired him. Now,
wow.
Obviously, the dick pic is, I think, what goes too far. But 65 texts, like, that's a crazy person, is it not?
It is somebody that's a little deranged. And obviously, you know, I'm speaking from entertainment purposes, but also the fact of knowing when to stop, right? Knowing when you're pretty much
kind of immediately, man. I think if you text somebody,
you think it's immediately?
Not like, listen. If you message somebody once and you're interested in them, whatever, and they don't respond, okay, you can message them maybe once or twice more. But if you send 2 to 3 texts, messages, whatever it is, if they don't respond, whether or not you even know if they saw them or not, let's say you don't even know, whatever it is, it's over, bro. They're not interested. There's no, like, if they really wanted to, I guarantee there's never been a time when you were single where an attractive woman reached out and you just ignored several texts. You're like, nah. No, I'm sure you responded to those texts.
Okay.
Yeah, and the same thing for her. Like, a woman, the same thing. If she's, and even if she's a little bit interested, she will respond. If she just doesn't respond multiple times, and you're just sending even if you're being nice in text, you're just bothering her. Like, she's not interested. If she were, she would just respond.
So so then I have to ask this, and I guess this is where our female correspondent will come in. But
our female correspondent, just talking out.
I think I would then have to ask, and maybe I sound like an idiot, but I this is kind of like a legit question. Why not just block the person then?
But why did they even have to, though?
Yeah, I get that. I'm not disagreeing with that.
Like, it just seems like
the person should get the hint. Yeah. Right? Like, that's the core.
And also, I will say, I think part of it, the reason they don't block is because if they just ignore it, then, so, not everyone, some people will stop responding, but if blocking you is acknowledging you, and a lot of people are crazy, and they'll then make like another account and message.
But again, the read receipt, like, and this is hypothetically speaking, obviously, if you have the read receipt on, but the read receipt says that you're acknowledging the person.
But you're not acknowledging it. I mean, even if you just like open the text and then close it, like, doesn't mean you're really like reading it or care. And more importantly, that means she's looking at the text and going, he's texting me, I am not responding. That's a surefire no. That means he's literally looking at it. You can't even, like, if you don't know if it's a read or not, like, that option's not on whatever you're doing, then you could always hope in the back of your mind, maybe she didn't get it, I don't know, something happened. But if she's actively looking at your text and then putting their phone down, then
actually, now that you say this, right? Because I literally, I think I have a perfect example. Go ahead, keep talking while I found this.
Okay. Right. So yeah, I pulled up the story for the Mets. So he sent in 2016. Well, it's kind of unfair that because he was with the Cubs when he did all this. But where does it say? They don't know who the woman is, but basically the woman was a foreign correspondent who had moved to the U.S. to cover MLB. She met him. They spoke briefly. They exchanged business cards. Only time he ever met this person they met in real life. He then texted her, complimenting her looks and whatnot, and inviting her to meet him. And then she just stopped responding. He then sent over 60 text messages that were unresponded to, and then eventually sent her like a picture of his dick. Like, dude, at what point? Like I just. And even that, Terrance, what's the reason that do you think she's going to go, oh, well, now, I mean, look at that cock. I just have to invite him over. You know what it is? I think a lot of men think that women are men. And what I mean by that is, let's say you were single, right? You just met a girl, you're talking to her, texting her a little bit, right? If she sent you a pic of her in her underwear or her naked, that'd be like the fucking best thing ever. That's like the best thing in that situation, right?
Okay.
Right.
I found it. So I'm sorry to cut you off. The last time, like a situation of what you're speaking about happened to me, I text her twice and she didn't reply.
Yeah, that to me is totally fine. Hey,
I said, what time are you getting off? And then I replied again. No, because she didn't respond back with question marks. She never wrote back, and I haven't spoken to this person again in years.
Right. That is totally reasonable, right? Like, you reached out, you tried again. Hey, maybe she didn't get it. Maybe, like I said, there have been times where I'm working and I get a text, I look at it, I see someone said something, and then something else pops up and needs my attention. You put your phone away, and then you just forget because you're in the middle of working, doing whatever you're doing, and then you just hours go by and you never even think about the text. So I get you. It's possible to miss text. You never really know what's going on. But yeah, so that's why I think if you text someone 2-3 times, it's reasonable. But if they don't respond, and especially if they're like spaced apart, like it's not if they're right on the road, but if you text someone an hour later, maybe a few hours later, I don't know, it's just over, man. Like, they're not interested. And if they were, then I don't know why they wouldn't respond. And then they're crazy.
Yeah, and I mean, look, it's there's a certain point, I think, as men men need to understand when the cutoff point is. Obviously, I did or whatever. And, I can joke around, but like being serious is like, look, all right, get over it. Go somewhere else, join a freaking Facebook group or something if you want to message
Facebook has a
somebody
dating
65
thing on, I heard
times.
now. It's like Facebook dating. So there you go.
Right. Do something else, literally doing that. Like there has to be something, wrong in order for you to do that 65 times
65
or whatever.
times. This is the Mets GM too. You think like he'd have more sense than this? Like you have a job that's pretty public facing. Like
you would think so, right? But
no.
When you're a creep, it doesn't matter. When you're a creep, it doesn't matter. The guys that are doing this stuff, like even the guys that are in my girl's DMs right now, like I know y'all in her DMs. Like I want y'all to know this. Like she knows, I know, we know, we're reading them,
probably.
But it's just like at a point, it's just like, yo, like when are y'all gonna stop?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying, man. Like this is a widespread problem. Like ask any woman who is, I would say, mild, even from the lowest of like okay attractiveness, who's not like 100 years old. Basically, any woman on the internet has dozens and dozens and dozens of just people sliding into her DMs trying to reach out, whether it's on Facebook or Instagram or whatever it is. And it's like, I just don't get that. People say, oh, like shoot your shot and everything. It's like, dude, listen, if you want to text somebody like, hey, and get to know them, but so many guys, like they just, like, I don't know. What I was saying before is like, if you're talking to a girl and she sends you like a nude or like a girl half naked or whatever, like it's hot. And immediately a guy is like, this is the best thing ever. It doesn't work the other way around. If you're texting a girl, she does not want to see you half naked, no matter how good you look. You could be fucking Ryan Reynolds, fucking shredded as a motherfucker. They don't care unless they ask for it. They just don't care. It doesn't mean the same thing as it does to you.
So okay, wait. All right, hold on, wait a second now, because I think you may be answering something for women that they may disagree with you, because
this isn't something I just made up. Like I've asked a lot of women this question and seen even on the internet the same thing. Like it's just not the same.
A Michael B. Jordan type dude is just sending her body pics and she's like, oh my God, he's harassing me.
I think a lot of women would. I think like Michael B. Jordan's a movie star, so I think obviously not. And you think someone looked like him, you're saying? I think most women don't want that. It's just like in my experience, I've talked to women before, and I've seen like I've even seen like women have showed me pictures of like good-looking dudes, guys who may be in great shape, but they're like they just think it's not all of them, but I'm saying generally speaking, it's not the same thing. Like women are so much less into looks than men. Like they obviously care, but with men,
because
we want to see a girl take her shirt off. It's amazing.
Physical women and visual creatures.
Yeah, but I think women are less so than us. Like I think that's important, but that means nothing to them unless they actually like the guy. Like, you know what I'm saying?
All right. So what you're saying is that guys need to change the stereotype, and when I get a nude, I should be like, oh my God, I didn't ask for this.
No, listen, like what you
Stop
like.
harassing me.
If you're
with your
a woman,
beautiful breasts.
Listen, if you're a woman and some guy sends you a dick pic or even just a pic from shirtless, hey, if you're into it and you want to respond, go for it, whatever. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is most men need to stop thinking of women as men. I understand for you want to see a picture of her half naked. She probably doesn't want to see you, the picture of you half naked. Like I said, unless you're involved in unless she says she asks for it, or if you're actually involved in like a more.
I mean, I think you got to lead them into it. I think you got to lead them into it though, because like I'm saying, but there's been times where I've gone to the gym and like been messaging a girl or whatever, and hey, what you doing? I'm like, I'm in the gym, right. Like, and it was like, oh, like the reply, it kind of like was that lead into like,
and that's fine. Yeah, but I think
in the picture,
I think a lot of guys just they're like, oh, I look good with my shirt off, or I look good, or whatever it is, and they just like drop it randomly, and it's like it's not the same thing. Like, listen, you could be talking to a woman at anything. If you did, like I said, just started talking to a girl, it could be about fucking anything. If she randomly sends you a picture of her, it's an instant like win. You're like, hell yes.
Yo, I used to be at work and like literally walking through the building, and my girl would send me like a random picture, and it would just like everything just was better that day. I'm
Yes.
skipping now around the hallways.
100% with
I'm
you.
like,
I'm 100% with you, and that's what I'm saying. Like, and if you're not in a relationship, it's just a girl you start talking to, it's awesome even then too, because you're like, oh man, like she's if into me enough that she wants to send me like that. That's awesome.
you ever showed your girl's body off to somebody else?
The only time I would do that if it's like a girlfriend or something like close would be someone like you, like a close friend of mine. I wouldn't show it to like just some random dudes at work. Not like a dirty photo, not like that.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
but
that's
like,
I
all
feel like
right,
that's more.
let's say like she's in like a bathing suit or bra and panties or whatever. Like, like yo, like my
She
girl is
just
banging.
she sent
Like,
it just to me, or is this like an
yeah,
Instagram
no, she
photo?
sent it just to you. Like, this
Well,
is
then
yours.
I
This is
feel
for
like
your collection.
there's a privacy thing. Even if my girlfriend, like, she's sending it to me, not to anyone else. And if I like a close friend like you, I would be
You're
like,
not
oh
showing
man,
it off.
nah, because it's just that's not like maybe here and there, but probably not. I would feel like I'm breaking your trust a little bit. Like you don't know if you're gonna run, like if you're gonna be hanging out with your girl and you run into these people. Like you don't want them thinking about that. Yeah, especially
Thinking
with people
about
that,
what my girl looks like.
yeah.
No,
What
I
if
mean,
it's what
my
if some
thing is, I
dude at
wouldn't do it.
work
I
and then you
wouldn't
bump?
do it with a dude. No,
Honestly, is
dudes,
it?
I wouldn't. I wouldn't do it with dudes. But I have female friends
Oh,
that
so you'd
I'm
show
like,
it to?
yo,
Oh, okay. You're talking about
like,
like women you'd show it to.
yeah, I'm speaking in general, but like, I know me, I wouldn't do it to my guy friends. Like, I'm not showing
Right.
you my girl's
But
body or whatever.
that's
Like,
what
you're
I
a
was
guy.
thinking. I was thinking as a guy, I guess. Okay, so for
Yeah,
women,
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, I if they wanted to see it, I feel like I wouldn't volunteer because I feel like that's I don't know. It's kind of like, hey, look at this girl. That hey, you're a girl. Look at this
I've
picture of
done
this other
it in the
girl.
past. I've done it in the past.
If they ask,
Just kind of like being on a show off.
yeah,
Like,
and I get that, but
like, yeah,
listen,
just
I get
got.
that, and I think that like it's kind of a younger mentality of like you want to show off your girl, like
Oh no,
literally
yeah,
show her off.
yeah.
I think like it comes from a good place, but I think most people like guys who will, oh yeah, it's great, but you don't really want that. And then women, I don't know, like I don't know. If they wanted to see it, I would show a picture of them, but I wouldn't just volunteer a picture of like my girl.
I think when I was younger, I was looking for, I guess, approval. I guess you would say, like
Yeah,
you're looking
it's
for
something.
that,
It's a mixture of like
like that.
approval
Yeah, you did a good
bragging
job.
and
Like,
bragging
yeah,
for
you
the
know,
yeah.
like it's
I'm man. We all did it, man.
when you sitting in that though.
I mean,
But
I think me and you have probably shown each other pictures of like our girls at the time because I don't know. It's just what guys do. I don't know if that's wrong, but it's not like we're doing
yeah,
anything with that information. We're just like, hey, look at this.
yeah, yeah. I mean,
Um,
it's not like I texted to your phone or
yeah,
something like that.
exactly.
Like
That's a different. Then it's a paper
showed it in
trail.
person.
It's a paper trail.
Yeah, yeah.
Those
We're
are
not trying to
happening.
do all those
Nah,
now.
I'm not doing that.
No.
No, I'm with you, Matt. I just think guys, it's like you said, like when to stop, and it's like, yeah, like you gotta stop like after like that's a 2 or 3 texts, maybe that's pretty much it to me. Like she's not interested.
Do you think nudes have the same impact now as they did before?
And like, what do you mean? Like they're like if a guy
Like when
sends a
you get
nude, if it
no. We're over the guys. When you get a nude, do you think it has the same impact like it did before? Because when we were younger, like teenage years, early 20s, you know, you had to finesse to get a freaking
it
nude
depends on the
pic.
girl, man. That's what I've learned. Like I had an ex who like doesn't matter. We were together for like several years. Would not under any circumstances send anything revealing. It was just not her style.
She
Like she
wouldn't send you nothing.
nothing. It was like a fucking steel vault,
Ugh.
man. And like it would just be and right. It kind of was kind of lame. Like, but that was just the way she was. She was like really like afraid. Like, well, what if somehow your phone got hacked, something happened? And it was like, oh, that's gonna happen. But like, she just would not do it.
Steve wouldn't allow this.
Steve.
You know, that's exactly what I told. You think Steve would allow that?
Probably
Steve wouldn't
happened.
allow
That's the
that.
problem. Now, like people like celebrities have been hacked. So um and that hey, that's her, whatever. I'm not gonna sit here and like get horribly mad at her, whatever. But that's the way it just depends on the girl. Like, but listen, I
Just tell
think
her you could have
now,
been famous. You could have been Kim Kardashian. You see what
yeah,
she did, right?
that's what she wants. But that's the thing, man. I think nudes still have an effect. Like if I'm talking to a girl who sends me a nude, I'm fucking high fiving myself. I'm fucking jumping in the air. I'm still excited about it. It's still like it's just cool, man. It's just like you feel like I don't know, like you just feel great.
I think the effort of getting it, and maybe this is for, I guess, like more so the younger generation, because they post too much revealing stuff. Like it was just to see a chick in a bathing suit was something.
Yeah, it was.
You know, like it was something just to see that.
Do you want to know? Do you want to know
that's
why?
Everything now. That's everywhere.
But do you want to know why I think it's still important to me? And I don't know specifically with you, because it's the women I find myself with are the women who don't do that on social media. Like, they do not post themselves. Like, they'll post on social media, but not in anything that's revealing at all. They're very much modest, and they don't do that. You know, the last several chicks I've been with, actually, for like years now, excuse me, have all been that way. Like, they don't post like bikini photos of themselves. They don't post like revealing stuff. And so getting that is still a huge deal, because it's like they're not doing that to anybody. They're specifically sending you that photo.
I mean, I don't care about that. I want the X-rated stuff. I'm
just saying in general. I think that's why it's still a big deal. Like they're
triple X.
Well, we all do, Terrance.
Send me that.
Anywho, so I think, yeah, like, to wrap this topic up, I think women or guys need to just learn. Listen, if a girl's not interested in you, she's not interested in you. The fact of the matter is, if she's interested, she'll talk to you. Especially if you're reaching out, you've done the hard part. If she's not responding, then she's not interested. That's just like case in point.
Yeah, I mean, so let me ask this now, right? Let's say you're dealing with an ex now, right? Not somebody like, you know, like you're interested in, you're just harassing them. Not that. Mm-hmm. Let's say you're dealing with an ex. When do you think you actually start to leave her alone? You think that's an immediate cutoff?
I mean, that depends on the person. Like, I think the best thing to do, in all honesty, though, is to just, it should be a clean break. It's hard. It's the hardest thing to do. But the best thing to do is just have a clean break and move on, because that's the easiest way to get over something.
But it's never an immediate cutoff, though. Like it's never okay, I'm just saying we broke up on the first and it's now the 9th.
No, it's not. I mean, it is like I said, that's the best thing to do. If you can somehow do that, it almost never happens that way. But it depends, man. Like, my most recent ex, we broke up. And we didn't say a word to each other. I mean, it actually was a fairly clean breakup in retrospect. We didn't say anything to each other after we broke up for like 3 months, 2 months, 2.5 months. No words. It was just like, we done. It was a clean break, and I had to get over it. But then it was because the pandemic. It was like end of March.
Start talking again.
Well, it wasn't like we started talking, but like not like in that.
But like a message, you know, like a message or two.
It was the end of March, and I was like, I haven't talked to her in, like, you know, at that point it'd been almost 3 months. We broke up like right when we turned 2020. And I just texted her and I was like, hey, like, how's everything been? You know, like, obviously with everything going on, like that was safe. And the end of March was like a really confusing time. No one knew what the fuck was going on, you know. And she responded, telling me a bunch of stuff that had happened, and we kind of started talking again and being like friends, and we've developed actually a pretty good friendship since then, which is kind of crazy. I've never really done that with an ex.
Shout out to her.
Yeah, I mean, it's been almost a year since that happened, you know, and we've developed into like a good friendship now. Like, she's moved on. I think she's talking to somebody else, and yeah, which life moves on. But like, it's hard.
Do you give her advice on a new dude now?
No, she hasn't mentioned. I've asked her, like, oh, who are you seeing? Somebody, blah, blah. She's like mentioned it, but she hasn't given me like too many specifics. I don't know if I really want.
You got to give advice on a new dude. You know, you gotta be like, you know, well, I know you like flowers in bed, so make sure he does that.
Flowers in bed, rose petals all over the fucking.
You know,
I know you love that.
Make sure he gives you flowers and French toast, because I know you like that. You know,
I don't know about all that.
You gotta throw a little shade on a new dude.
No, I'm not gonna. No, I hope she's happy, man. I mean, shit. Hopefully she's happy.
I'm petty, man. I'm petty.
Yeah, you are. I know that. I'm not petty about this. I don't know who this guy's gonna be, her future husband or not, and who knows. But hopefully she's happy, man. You know, like that's what it comes down to. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, she would never ask me. She would never tell me anything like super personal about him or what's going on with them. I don't think we'd do that.
No, I mean, and she should
tell me he's bad in bed or something. Like.
Her relation. I mean, well, she tell you that clearly. She's opening the door for you. I can't say that. Well, let me. You know what? I may be being like a jerk of a guy right now by saying
but there is something about that. Like, yeah, I don't.
Right? You know that I was like, hey, she might be throwing a sign by telling me he's bad.
I think women, though, in my experience, are like super.
She missed this deep.
I think women are like super resistant to compliment a guy about their skills in bed when you're not with them anymore. Like they don't want to be like, oh well, yeah, you were good or you're not. Like they almost don't want to, especially if they're with someone else, because then they're like inevitably comparing them in their heads, and I don't think they want to do that, even if I was way better, whatever.
I think I think after a while, right? So like I remember a time where I broke up with a chick and I was with a new woman. And the first time, it's not like you're necessarily thinking about the other person,
Mm-hmm.
but it was something that you were used to.
Right.
You were
Yes.
already
Yes.
accustomed to a certain
That's why.
feel
That's why it's
and
really
rhythm and
good
thing.
to give it time between like one girl and the next, because that can fuck
Yeah,
you up, man.
you
It's hard
gotta
to
you
do,
gotta
but that
have a
fucks you
break.
up, man. Yeah.
Gotta have a break.
I
Like
fucked up. I
now, I
fucked up a
don't.
relationship with a girl because of that.
Yeah, I mean, you don't know anything else other than
Yep.
whatever you were previously dealing with. So
Yep.
now you're in a new situation, and you're like, okay, well, do I move to the left? Well, maybe she don't likes the left. Like your moves are based upon
The
someone
last girl,
else,
100%. But that's the
and
thing, dude.
these moves don't work all the time.
That's exactly right, Terrance. I got out of like a 2-year relationship, and there was a girl I started talking to like 5 weeks later, and it wasn't intentional. I wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna go after this girl, but she was kind of interested in me, and it just one thing led to another, and it sucks because that could have been a good relationship, but then ended up only being like a 3-month rebound because I spent the last 2 years with one chick, and you have all these specific things you're doing, and then you just naturally do them with her, and it just fucks things up because that's not the way it works. You need to come in fresh. So, um, so that's that, man. I think.
How long you think it takes to forget the last pussy?
How long? What?
How long you think it takes to forget the last pussy?
Like until you're fresh again?
Yeah, like it's like it's out of my system, like it's like
It's probably like
new
2 or 3
now.
months. I think like is like if you break up with a girl on January 1st, I think when you roll, if you have no contact with her or any other women, and by the time you roll into like Marchish, you're probably fine. You know,
Yeah, you hear that, guys? Stay celibate for a while.
that's the thing.
Give your time start the chance to
Dude,
restart.
I think a lot of people are like afraid in different ways of being like not in a relationship or not having some girl or guy with them. When it's like
Oh
just
no, I think a lot of people are codependent now.
yeah, man. Like it's
I,
like
I
I
think a
get it. Like
lot of people are.
it's fun and it's cool and there's benefits to being with somebody, but like there's nothing wrong with being by yourself for a little bit, especially for like a few months in between. If you get out of a big relationship, give it a few months, just chill, do you, don't worry about anything, and then eventually you can, if you meet someone else, you meet them. But like, yeah, diving right back in, man, it's just not good, man.
I
People need
had
to learn to be alone.
literally the best time of my life I had was before before my current relationship. After I got out of my last relationship and that gap between. And what I mean by like the best time of my life is when I was like, yo, I'm only thinking about me.
Yeah,
I'm not even looking for a shake. Like if it happens, it happens. But
yeah.
I'm only thinking about me. I'm going out, me and the guys, we hanging out. I'm doing this or whatever. Remember, that was a year like we did like bowling for no reason. We was just
Yeah,
like
that was a good
we was
time,
just
man.
like
That was a good time.
doing stuff. I was just like
Definitely.
doing stuff. And I was cool with it. And I wasn't tied to anything. I wasn't looking to be tied to anybody, nothing. And that's when like I really like leveled up in the sense of myself and like, all right,
Yes,
cool. This is who I am. This is what I want. This is what I'm looking for. And I figured it out.
that's what
But
I'm
when
saying,
you
man. Like
codependent, you don't got no time for that.
that's what
You
I'm saying.
need you need that.
You need to be able to enjoy the relationship and the girl at that time, and you need to be able to enjoy the alone time. This goes for all genders, man. Like you need to be able to enjoy both. Like I know when you break up, you immediately want to like find someone else, but I'm telling you, just have some time to yourself. You'd be surprised how much fun it is to not be in a relationship for a little bit.
Oh no, it's a lot of fun.
People just
That's a lot of fun. I would encourage everyone to be single for as long as they can.
well, that sounds like a depressed married guy or something.
No, I would encourage no,
It
I would
sounds like you're
encourage
saying.
you to be single for as long as you can. And what I mean by single is like obviously you can date. Like I'm not really like dating, I think is still a part of being single. So I don't
You're
look
saying
at
don't get
dating
like
as
married, settle down.
I think, I mean, obviously everybody's different, like, if you feel like this person is the one for you, then they're the one for you. But living life, right? Because there are people that have been in relationship for, let's say, like 10 years, right? Let's say like you're 28 now, right? Let's say you're 28, 29, and you've been in a relationship for like 10 years.
This is a good
You've been in
topic
that
you're bringing up right here,
relationship,
man.
you've been in that relationship since you were
Since you
19
were a kid,
years old. 19, keyword teen,
Yeah,
right?
100%, yeah.
You've been in that relationship for 10 years. You've been with this one person. Now let's say you've been the best person, whether you didn't cheat, that person didn't cheat, everything in your relationship is perfect. Do you really think you know enough about life experiences by just being with that one person since 19?
Terrance,
In
see,
my opinion,
100% you're right.
no.
No, they don't. No, not at all.
No.
No, but
You don't know.
Terrance, so this is what I say. The way, I don't know if you phrase it the best way, like stay single as long as you can, but I think don't settle down early. Because a lot of people, man, a lot of people, they'll be 20 and they'll be like married with like 2 kids. And it's like like I think what Terrance is trying to say, what I am saying basically, yeah, give it time. Like chances are there's a strong likelihood that if you think you're found the love of your life when you're in your teens or even early 20s, you're probably wrong. That's why so many marriages end in divorce.
Bro, that high school sweetheart mess is out the window. All right.
Yeah, man. Listen.
This is not the
Maybe
70s.
listen. Yeah, maybe that happens to you, but the actual numbers are that I think the people who get married late, like if you get married in your late 20s compared to your early 20s, I think there's the percentage is like way higher that you're actually going to stay with that person because
How many times you said you was in love in high school?
a couple times,
Like when you
yeah,
were right,
times.
right? Exactly,
But
right?
and I wasn't, but that's the thing, man. Like you listen to take it from two. I'm 30, Terrence 31. Take it from us. We weren't. It wasn't that long ago. We were in our 20s. You don't know shit all when you're in your late teens or early 20s. Like you don't. You don't know it. When you finally get like your mid 20s, when you finally start to understand a little bit about life,
Oh no, yeah.
and that is when you can maybe make those decisions. Like I'm telling. And here's another secret people don't know, Terrence. You don't get a bonus of any kind for getting married early. You don't need to do it as quickly as you possibly can. You don't get like a money. You don't win a prize. If you get married at 19, you get married at 29. Guess what? Nothing changes except you and
Nothing
her
changed.
as a better person. But you don't like people rushing into. I'm like, I don't know why are you rushing. What do you get if you do it quicker? You know?
I mean, sometimes, honestly, sometimes it's to satisfy others.
Why that
Because
I can't think of it.
sometimes,
You should
and
get
I think
married.
females have the pressure of it more so than guys. I think
Fuck
sometimes,
all that noise.
yeah, but if you're coming from like, a certain culture family, like I know in a West Indian culture, a lot of times, like they're looking for the woman to get married
Oh
and
no, I know
have kids,
a lot of
like
cultures that way. I get it, but like,
soon as possible.
listen, man, listen. This is what I'm gonna say. You need to. We talked a little bit about this, like not caring what people think last week. You need to shut all the noise out of the world and understand one thing. You need to be getting married for one reason only, because you are in love and you want to spend the rest of your life with that person. That's the only reason you should do it. And if you're not sure, or if you're fucking 19, don't get married. It's fine. It's gonna be all fine. Your parents might get mad. This person might get mad. I assure you, life will be fine. Just chill. And if listen, hey, if you're still with that person when you're 25 and you actually think you love them to death and you don't ever want to be without them, maybe you get married then. Because guess what,
And tell
Terrence?
your parents to come see me if they got a problem with
it. Tell them to email the gray area at the gray area podcast at gmail.com if they have a problem with that. And we'll set them
it.
straight.
Gray with an A.
Gray with an A. I haven't even checked if we have any emails. Well, I mean, we didn't as of like yesterday. Maybe we do. But yeah, man, you don't know shit when you're younger. That's just the reality. Okay. So don't get married. Don't have
When do you think
kids.
life? I think life hits you. In my experience, I can't speak for everybody else, but I think life hits you at like 26, 27.
I was going to say, like, once you hit 25, 26, what I was going to say, like,
Right.
I'm telling you, once you get past the midpoint in your 20s, it's when life kind of like,
Bro, I barely remember
pivots.
a lot. I barely remember before 25. Like I just felt like all of that sped by.
Just crazy shit.
Like
Yeah.
it just happened. It just happened. It happened. It happened. It happened. It happened. Everything went so quick. And all of a sudden, when I got to like 26 or something, it was like, whoa, wait.
I'm telling you, man. And I guess what's funny is that would have been the same time. I'm 25, you're 26, at the same time. But I'm telling you that you're 100% right. Like when you hit your mid 20s, when you finally realize you're now closer to 30 than you are to 20, it puts me, not that like anything's bad, but it puts things into perspective where you kind of see life a little differently. I mean, you should. If you're a moron, maybe you don't, but it kind of puts things in perspective and you realize certain things. Like there's no, like, I'm telling you, man, like just wait, don't have kids, don't get married. Like Terrance said, just date around, experience the world, and don't just live your entire life. Don't live your entire 20s
the
with
kid thing
one
happens.
girl or one guy that you're with.
The kid thing happens, obviously, you know.
I'm saying I think the best thing to do is to not have them. If you could wait, then you should just like marriage.
If you can prevent it, obviously, look, if you want to, you want to. You're gonna do what you want to do at the end of the day, right? Everybody's gonna do whatever the hell they want to do, right? Speaking as somebody that had a child at a young age, obviously, was I prepared for it? No, absolutely not. But you're never prepared for a child, right? Just at the end of the day, do what you're supposed to do. Handle your responsibility.
Yeah, 100%.
That's really all it is.
People need to like, people make these big life decisions when they're so young. It's like you have to understand, like it's all fine. Like if you choose to wait years, it's all the same. You know, like you might be in love with this person when you're 19, but like guess what? Let's say you break up with them a couple years later, you'll find some other person who you also love and probably better because you're older.
Oh, and if you've been with somebody since you were 19 years old, 18, 19 years old, and y'all got married at like 28, 29, I'm not giving your marriage that long. That's just me.
You don't even know, like at that point, you don't even really know what it's like to date, to be in a relationship, because you never really were. You were a teenager and you got into relationships. You never like, what is that? You know, like you don't really know what it's like. It's like if you
basically like kissing cousins. Y'all just grew up together. Like
and it's kind of like you know like just, you know like when you graduate high school and then you go to college, and college, let's say you go away to college. College is like half adulthood, right? Like you're kind of on your own, but you're also completely sheltered in this college. If you dating somebody when you're 18, 19 and you're with them 10 years later, you're basically still in college where you're not really in the real world. You've only known your adulthood through this other person. It's just not the way you want to live it, man. You have to live in your 20s by yourself. Have to.
Oh my gosh. If I only had one pussy since I was 19.
Jesus.
I don't know.
But that's what I'm saying, Terrance. I think like you can't do that to yourself. I'm telling you, you're doing yourself a disservice and you'll almost certainly get divorced. But hey, who knows? All I know is 9 people. Let me ask you a quick question, Terrance, since we're talking about this anyway.
Yeah.
Is above the age of 18, is there any age up or down that you, if you were single, would you not sleep with? Like, is there a specific age you'd be like, no, I'm just not doing it? Or is it just like, it doesn't really matter as long as you're into that girl?
Nothing under 24, 25.
Wow.
Nothing
really?
Under 20.
So you're single, a 21-year-old girl, gorgeous, you totally knew each other. You find out she's 21, you're like, no, sorry.
Can't. You know why? Because they're idiots now.
Yeah, they've always been
all idiots. They're all idiots now. Even worse, I think a 21-year-old in this day and age is actually an 18-year-old.
Right, but okay, but it's stupid. But like in terms of, I mean, if you're just talking about you're just going to sleep with her.
I mean, possibly, but possibly not. More than likely, no. More than likely.
What would hold? I mean, she's stupid. So what do you think she's going to do? Like,
I feel like I wouldn't be able to even get to that point of sleeping with her because the conversation before the part of sleeping with her would just turn me off.
And I get that. I mostly agree. I think it'd be hard to meet, like, it's hard to like find someone on that level of you in general. But when you're talking to someone who's a decade younger than you, it is hard to meet on that same level. But I don't know, man, like if you're out of the bar and you're just talking and joking, like you don't have to meet on a deep level to have a connection. You're like, oh, this chick's totally cool. Like we're having fun.
No, but I see the thing about it, me is though,
you're have like
I love having, like when I first met my girl, we had like some of the most deepest conversations within the first 2 hours.
Yeah, like, but what was the situation? What was the circumstances that you met her? At a bar, just hang out. You saw her.
I met her at a club, man. She was the bartender. I met her at a club. She was the bartender, and we had some of the most like intellectual, deep conversations.
She was a bartender, though. I mean, that's
normally how I was meeting girls. Like I would have to have like
You
at
listen. You
least like
said
a
I think,
30-minute conversation.
but you said I think on one of the last shows you said that you've met girls you just met at the bar and you went home with them that night.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, one
Okay,
night stands
so
happen.
yeah, but did you have deep conversations with those girls?
100%.
Come on,
I've
every girl
I've
you've bumped into at a bar that you brought home, you've had deep philosophical conversations with.
you know what's my line? You know what's my go-to line?
Oh, here we go. It's dating advice from Terrance. Go.
You know, this used to be my line,
We're
right?
gonna try. Remember, in October, me and you were gonna go. We made this a date. Me, you, and potentially Corey are gonna go. We're gonna try some.
And
I'm gonna buy a girl a drink
yeah,
because
100%.
I think we mentioned this in the show. We talked to Terrance, me and Terrance about. I don't think pickup lines or like even just buying a girl a drink is a good idea. I think like women don't like they don't care.
I beg to differ. I beg to differ.
And that's what Terrance agrees. So we said in October when the world's a little bit more right, we're gonna go to a bar and we're gonna try it. I'm gonna go up to a girl, I'm gonna buy her a drink, I'm gonna try it out. And here,
and here's what you
what's
do.
the
You
line? Tell me the line, Terrance.
After you know the initial giggling, introducing the names and everything like that, and how
That's
are
how
you
you
and all
start.
that
You
stuff.
just walk up to her and say, "Can I buy your drink?" And I introduce myself. That's what I do.
After
Okay.
all of that, you know,
Okay.
you get into the what do you do, right? You get into the what do you do,
So I'm
right? And
unemployed. I got laid off because of COVID. I've been unemployed for a year.
all right, fine, whatever, right? And you know you find some way to
You just walk
relate to
away at
that,
that point.
right?
She's just depressing.
Right. And then the next question is, and here's where you get deep, right? The next question, what do you want to do? What's your passion?
That's what oh, Terrance, I use that too, just not in that phrase. What's your passion, though? I would always do that.
What do you want to do? What's your passion? And then that's where you
It's
start to
no
get
wonder we're
deep.
best friends, isn't it?
That's where you start to get deep. That's where it starts to go differently. That's where her mind
now,
opens up and she's like, oh, wow.
Terrance,
How many guys ask that on the first time they meet?
now, Terrance, here's the thing. I do
Pin
use that as
dropper.
well. I do use that as well. However, I wouldn't use that at a bar. I think that's too much. But you have said you've done this at a bar and it works.
I've done it.
More than once.
It's 100%.
Okay.
100%.
I've always thought, you know what? Do women want to get into a deep conversation when they're just sitting at a bar? I always thought, I don't know, about the right place.
Yes.
Because that question I think is a great question. Like, what do you want to do? What's your passion in life? I've used that before, but I don't know. Yes. At a bar, I wouldn't think
they
so.
want to have that conversation, just no one asked them.
All right, well, there you go.
No one asked them that question.
This is why. See, I never just we talk about this. I don't buy girls drinks at a bar. So I never think about this stuff. But okay.
You know,
Plan
and then
please
is now buying a girl a drink harassment now? Because you know we're in a different age where it's like,
okay, if you say, "Can I buy you a drink?" and she just doesn't look at you, no, you can't buy her a drink. Is the answer to that?
She does.
That's what that means. If you say, "Can I buy you a drink?" and she just doesn't even look, and you go, "Can I buy you a drink?" and then you buy her a drink and give it to her, then yes, at that point you're getting a little harassy because she's ignoring you and you won't leave her alone.
No, it's more of the way of like, if I don't know what the guys are doing now. I haven't been in the single world in a while, but what I saw,
50 years old.
No, what I saw was a lot of dudes being disrespectful.
Yeah, of course they are. Fucking guys
it was
suck.
a lot of dudes out there being real disrespectful. First of all, when you go to a bar or a club and you just out there scouting, you look like a goddamn hyena looking for meat.
That's what, yes,
all right. They see you. She sees you. She saw you as soon as she came in, looking at her, drooling. She saw you. Stop it.
Hey, Terrance, you're spitting the truth right now.
Like you gotta smooth. Dudes ain't smooth. I think that's what it is. I think guys just ain't smooth enough to just be like, all right, cool. I see something I possibly could be interested in. And your approach is always what sets it off. If you approach her wrong, she gonna be wrong. Hey, yo
ma. That's how you gotta start, Terrance.
The yo ma always killed me, right?
I can't believe that there are men who
you could even go wrong with women
as ma. That to me is like,
you could go wrong with excuse me as well.
Yeah, I could be a little abrasive. Excuse me.
Right. You can go wrong with excuse me, but I think I use excuse me a lot.
Or I'm sorry to bother you, but I just wanted to know.
Or I'm sorry to bother you.
Yeah,
you know.
Depends on how you say it. You're right. Not a lot of guys are really smooth. So if you're saying it, you can say almost anything as long as you're saying it right. Then that's all that matters.
Absolutely, long as you're saying it right. You can get away with. I've gotten away with some of the most craziest things. I've said some of the most rude, disrespectful things to women in their face, but I've said it so smooth.
Can you give us an example, Terrance, of what
that they just
rude
laughed
stuff
at
you'd
it.
say?
Oh, I got it. I got a perfect example. I was talking to a chick, at a restaurant, right? And she had she just finished eating whatever. She had some stuff on the side of her face or whatever, right? I think this was like, this was at a bar or whatever. She had some white stuff on the side of her face. So after we were talking or whatever, while she's eating whatever, I was like, I looked at her and I see it. I was sitting on her, if I'm remembering this correctly, I was sitting on her left I was sitting on her left. So the thing was on the right side of her face. So she turned enough where I was able to see it. All right. And I was like, you got a lot of white stuff just sitting there right in your mouth.
That's so rude. I can't believe you said it like that.
Right? I knew what it was clearly because she's at a bar, she's eating or whatever. I knew it was blue cheese. I know exactly what it is. Wings, bro. Who doesn't have wings at a bar?
Well, it depends on the bar, I guess. Depends on what you're going out for. If you're just going to watch a game, it's different than if you're just going out to get.
Doesn't matter, right? But I could have said that a lot. You got a little something here or whatever.
Yeah,
but I did that on purpose because at that point I'm testing the little connection we have, because if she laughs, then I know she gets my sense of humor.
Right? Yeah, I mean,
right?
Yeah, if she I'd say also it's a test of if she's into you even a little bit, then she'll want it not to be offensive.
Right, exactly. And her reply was, she chuckled, she laughed, she was like, wow, whatever, oh my God. But that would again, had I said that a different way or whatever, it could have went completely wrong. But I've gotten away with it because it was just the way I said it.
Yeah, there you go. People say all the time, it's not about what you say, it's about how you say it. I mean,
right. And that was my disrespectful moment of the week, people.
Oh man. This has been a very women-filled relationship sex episode, Terrance. Way more than we normally do.
This wasn't the intention.
No, it wasn't, but we kind of fell into that.
Definitely wasn't the intention, and ladies, please feel free to email us. Joe, I always mess up on the email, thegreyareapodcast@gmail.com, gray with an A.
Perfect.
Boom. Yeah. Right. I would love to hear from the females about a couple of things that we touched on or whatever, especially about the long-term relationship from 19.
That's unless we're talking to those women who are like that. They're like, I'm 20 and I'm madly in love with my boyfriend.
Oh my God. Since you were 10?
If you say so.
You knew since you were in the playground.
I mean, I'm just saying, I think, I don't know. I'm not saying she's been with 10 years. Maybe she's been with them for a couple of years, but.
Yeah. But that's cool. That's really early. And I love, so I do respect all relationships. But
I love love.
Some of you don't need to be together.
I agree. I also love love, and I'm currently single. So, ladies, write in thegreyareapodcast@gmail.com.
Oh man, next year Valentine's Day, we're gonna do a speed dating thing for Joe.
That shit, the problem with speed dating, it costs a lot. Women are free and men are $400 if you want to do speed dating.
Nah, we're not charging anybody. Just show up.
What do you mean we're gonna set it up ourselves, you're saying?
Yeah.
Oh God, no, we can't. We wouldn't be able to find one, much less enough for a speed dating round for me.
We'll find a few. We're gonna have ladies lined up. We're gonna find a few.
All right, Terrance. Before we go, got to do a hypothetical question, of course.
What's up?
All right, Terrance. I think long and hard about this one. Would you rather have no arms or no legs? Tough.
It's kind of offensive.
Is it?
I don't know. It's possible.
It's offensive to who? I mean, what?
People with no arms or no legs.
Well, I mean, hey, if they're writing in, listen, if they're listening, they can. Oh, they can't write in, can they?
This guy, we're gonna get canceled before we get on.
They ain't getting canceled. Listen, if you have no arms or no legs, I'm sorry, it's obviously terrible, but you could probably write in and tell us the answer to this, what you would say. Stop worrying about who's being offended, Terrance.
Look, if you're putting me on freaking trial with this, and I gotta answer whether I would have no arms or no legs,
I think it's got to be legs.
I would probably say no legs,
because no legs would suck. Hopefully, you get some prosthetic or something, but you still have a wheelchair, and
I can get a wheelchair.
I could still play video games, or I could control the TV or be on the computer. If I had no arms, and I can walk places, but then what do I do?
Yeah, the no legs got to be it for me.
Can't jack off if I have no arms, Terrance.
Yeah, that's gonna be bad.
Yeah, that's the thing.
You're gonna be backed up for the rest of your life.
Yeah, I mean, I guess unless you're paying some hookers to come over, but yeah, basically.
You can't pay them. You don't have arms to pay them.
Sure, you have to have an assistant. Hopefully, you're just wealthy. You have an assistant who just does these things for you.
I can afford to have no arms now.
I mean, you'd have.
This is how messed up America is. You can't even afford to have no arms.
I mean, not if you want
to
have some fun.
God, our society is wrong.
Our society is wrong. But all right, ladies and gentlemen, that's where we wrap up for the week on that ridiculous question. You know what, Terrance? The first hypothetical we had, I just thought of. That one was kind of an obvious one. I got to come up with some on my own. But yeah, anything else for you, Terrance? Is that it?
No, man. Good show.
Another great show. Ladies and gentlemen, like I said, the gray area podcast at gmail.com. Gray with an A. Write in. Let us know what you want to. I would love to hear some people talk about what we just talked about. But that's it for me.
Yeah. Love you guys. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us. We appreciate that.